It's me, David, in Japan. I'm making a video that's something of interest to explain why Australia's fair trading, system is much better than Japan's. In the last year, in March, which is now 11 months ago, I went to the United States, but when I went to the airport, I went to the mobile phone shop. I asked the lady who came up to help me how to turn global roaming off, because I didn't want to get any international charges, but I wanted to keep it so that I can use the free wireless internet in America, which is prevalent everywhere now in the United States. And she made a mistake on my telephone, which is an Apple iPhone, but I didn't know at the time what she did. Okay, she just said, turn this button, and I had written it down. I gave her a piece of paper and said, write down the instruction. She actually did it so that when I wanted to use the free internet, I turned on global roaming. Okay, which is the reverse of what I wanted. I did ask in English and Japanese, because at the airport the staff do speak English, but then I just asked in Japanese as well, just to double check. Actually, the first was in Japanese, and then I asked in English. It's Japan, everybody speaks Japanese. It's common. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. And so I went to the United States, and then when I came back, I received a bill of over $1,000, and I was lost as to why. I couldn't understand what's going on. And I rang SoftBank, and they said they'll get someone to call me back, and someone called me back and basically said that I spent all this money in the United States. And I said, no, I went to the SoftBank shop at the airport and asked the staff how to turn it off, but it seems like they've turned it on. So I shouldn't be held responsible, as they are representatives of your company. Now, that sounds all good, but they said, no, you used it, therefore you pay. I said, I just will not pay it. They said, okay, well, pay out the telephone, which I owed about $500 on, and your last bill, which is about 16,000 yen, which is about $200, which wasn't exactly accurate. I didn't owe that much, but I thought it's a way out, that's the best. Since then, I have received 2 more bills, totaling over $600, and there is no reason as to the bill listed on the bill. There's nothing written there. It just says, please pay this amount or we'll seek legal action. You try to call the company and they just don't respond. I have also had somebody from the SoftBank, from the company that my mobile phone is, actually say on the telephone, yes, the staff member made a mistake. And I was like, well, great then I don't have to pay this. And they're like, no, you just pay it. And then they put me onto the foreign people's representative who speaks English, and that person said, look, there's really no way around it in Japan. It's best just to pay whatever a company wants, and just to hope that you don't get another bill. And I was like, wow, that is a really strange system. But since that phone call, I've actually worked out that is what happens. And now you think, why? In Japan, corporations do own their employees. They put them on a rather low wage, but they have regular work. They never get fired, no matter how incompetent or inconsistent they may be. They just will not get fired. The government of Japan sees this as a way of controlling the people. This is Japan's method of controlling people. If this wasn't in place, what would the society be like? Nobody's too sure. So it's best to stay on this known path. So what happens is when a consumer says that they've been done wrong by a company, there is normally some financial cost to that company to compensate the customer. But here in Japan, if you do that, then the company loses money. They don't particularly like that. And because every company in Japan, every joint stock corporation, major corporation in Japan, has affiliation with some parliamentarian and the government in general. Parliament is very weak on making laws to protect consumers here in Japan. Me personally, I believe that a company, no matter how incompetent their staff may be, or no matter how little or how big the mistake that their employee makes, that employee is a representative of your company. That person represents the company at that point in time between that customer's concern and what the company can do for that customer. No matter what, there's no excuses. But in Japan, no, it doesn't matter, and that company cannot be held responsible for its mistakes. It's a very sad system. It's why I'm very proud to say that Australia at least has a fair trading tribunal where people can go and receive advice, and a complaint is taken seriously. But not only that, but Australian companies seem to understand that it is best to do right by the customer in the first place than to completely destroy that customer's faith in the company. This is something that a lot of people don't understand about capitalism. See, what does capitalism need more than anything? Consumers. Now, if a company just goes and its only job is to sell a telephone card for $10, and you put it in the machine, in the telephone, public telephone, and there's only $8 credit on it, people will not use that company, and that company will go bankrupt. That is a fantastic system. That'll work every time. Company has to represent its product faithfully, responsibly, and legally. But when the company makes mistakes, it pays the cost. It pays the consequences. It can go out of business. If it's faithful and represents its product well, and abides by the rules and the laws that exist, it may be able to stay in business and profit. I think that's a much better system than, even if you make a mistake, you will be able to operate and you will be able to do whatever you want to that customer, because you are a corporation. You're employing lots of people. We don't want you to go bankrupt or lose lots of customers. Well, you will lose customers, you'll become bankrupt. Because in Japan, no matter how, there are some companies that year in, year out lose money. They're able to get government grants every year. They're not productive. They don't actually do anything anymore. For example, half the banks in Japan, they're insolvent, but they still get money year in, year out. Half the automotive part manufacturing businesses, insolvent, but they get grants. And that is what happens. That is a negative to an economy that has to progress. And right now the Japanese economy is stagnant. Very dangerous place to be. Although Japan is in a much better position than America, because it still has all the production facilities. It's not shipping them to Mexico. It's not shipping them to impoverished countries. Japan still makes plastic bags. Japan still makes $1 toys. It still does. You can walk into the $1 shop here and see that half the toys there are still made in Japan. So it still has that, which allows for full employment. But the problem is, it's non-productive. It doesn't improve the financial position of the company, the macroeconomic position of the company if it's just getting loans from the government just to cover its expenses. It's not a good system. And that is why I am very proud to say that at least Australian businesses and corporations are separate enough from the government to know they've got to stand on their own 2 feet. And that is why economy will grow, will continue to improve. It's diversified, it is dynamic, it's able to change very quickly and rapidly. And that's what I see in the foreseeable future for Australia, in a great financial position. Thank you.